Action does not need motivation. Ask anybody who is in the gym every single day. Most days they're not motivated. They have to take action. Motivation comes at the end of the results that after taking action. Action produces results that make you motivated to take action again. I can't be an effective coach if everything that you have to do is about you. When you start to talk about your why, you can't just rattle it out like that. It's so much bigger than you. By the time you get the words out, you must feel something emotional. It must move you in a particular way. Your why must make you feel uncomfortable. Your why must keep you up at night. It's not a simple answer.
2 minutes and not miss the opportunity for you to tell us your why. A mentor of mine once told me that not every time you might get the opportunity to have a conversation with a person one-on-one, but they might leave their perspective in a book. And today we have the privilege of doing both. We have the book and we have the author on the inside of Mentor Me podcast. So today we have Jessie McBarrow. And listen, Jessie was a crucial part of me getting this podcast started. Listen, I remember giving him the idea and I was really motivated by it. We saw a lot of potential in the idea of me having this podcast. But one thing Jessie told me that just really shifted my mindset was that motivation comes after taking action. It's like a sugar rush. You'll be excited for a couple hours, a couple days, but then that might not take you to the finish line of actually getting the thing done. And I was just like, you know what, Jessie, you're right. So in this episode, Jessie McBarrow breaks down the mindset trap that keeps people from getting started and finishing, and why action and not motivation is the real key to progress. And if you're tired of overthinking and you're ready to move, this podcast is for you. Let's jump right into it. So I want to bring you guys along on the relationship I have with Jessie McBarrow, right? Jessie has become a brother to me over the last 6 months. Yes?
Yeah.
So I know you for
A
over
long
20
time.
some years.
Yeah. Click.
And I'm so proud to have a friend and a brother who doing things like this, writing books. Jessie has now created a desire in me to actually do something like this. And for me, in my world, from where I come from, this is crazy, but really inspiring. So today we're going to talk about mindsets, right? And all the hurdles that persons suffer with in terms of having a strong mind and accomplishing their goals. But before we get into that, why ready mindset go? A real good name too.
Yeah.
I just say that from the jump. A real good name.
Thanks.
But how does this come about?
I wish I had a very profound way that I came up with that name. I was just thinking about the journey. I was just thinking about, it was during the pandemic, and everyone was opening and closing, and a couple of my videos started to go viral, which was weird to me because it was very short one take videos. You know, one was like 49 seconds, the other one was less than a minute. And I recognized that people were hungry for the simplicity of some of the things that I would have learned over the years being in personal development. So I've walked the road as a musician for quite a long time, been putting on music and all those different things. And then I put out a word, you know, something very short, something very simple, and people were just sharing it and sharing it and sharing it. And that became pretty overwhelming, pretty shocking. It's not the first time I put out videos talking, but for some reason during the pandemic, those videos were going viral. So I recognized that everybody was on a journey. And, you know, between the starting line and the finish line of people's journey, there are hurdles in between. So I was thinking both strategically, I must admit, and trying to lean into the divine season that I was in. And so strategically, I needed a book to say mindset on it.
Right.
Right? Strategically. I just needed the book to have mindset written on it because that is the market that I was penetrating.
Right.
That I wanted to penetrate. So when people search mindset, they could discover the book, they could discover me, those kind of things, right? And then I needed a book to speak about the journey.
Yes.
So ready,
Yes.
is the beginning.
Yes.
Getting your mindset right, and then taking that leap, taking that run into destiny.
Yes. So Jessie face might be pretty familiar. You might be watching us and it's like, I know his face from somewhere else, but I feel I know him, but I don't know him on this coaching vibes. Jessie was an artist back in the day. I would consider you a musical artist. You all get them, the artist name?
Oh my God, I've
carrying your
buried.
Yeah, carrying your back. Let me start there.
It was J-Wave. J-Wave was my sobriquet when I was doing the artist thing.
Right.
Yeah. I've done it. I did it for maybe about almost 10 years, maybe 9 years ago. Yeah, 9-10 years. It was a beautiful journey. The name J-Wave came from my pastor, Pastor Kirk Doalo. I was just graduating from the University of Trinidad and Tobago. I was one of the first students in Napa when Napa was created. And while I was graduating, I sat down with my pastor at the time, and I'm like, I think I wanna put my songs out there because I've been writing, and nobody knew me as a writer and a singer. They just know me as playing the keys. And I'm like, I want to be an artist, but I don't want to just sing to the church. I wanna target people outside of the church. And I'm thinking of creating music that is not focused on singing towards, the church. So it was a bold thing that I did.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me because it was a very
Of
very
course.
weird conversation to
Of
have.
course.
And he was like, Jesse, when people come into a church, they come into a wave. But when you go outside of the church, you start the wave. And I was like, oh, shucks, I like that. And then I called myself J Wave,
That's where it come from. All right.
yeah, which was me. It was a strategy that I used to kind of introduce kingdom principles in what might be perceived as secular music
Right.
or the secular industry, because I wasn't singing gospel.
Yeah, because I was not coming to ask you, like, since you didn't want to sing to the church, who you wanted to sing to? Because the tone of the songs give me real R&B vibes.
R&B.
And
Yeah, I was
sounds like
touching
you was going
different.
in a direction.
Yeah, I
but
was
you
touching
didn't.
different genres, but
Okay.
yeah, because I played the piano, sing, so yeah, I was kind of dabbling in a lot of different genres, and yeah, I was basically singing to whoever willing to listen.
All right.
Yeah.
Who want to hear Jessie sing us?
Oh Lord.
Just a little. No, right now in the room. All hands up in the room. We want a chorus. Something.
Oh
No?
my God.
No?
Chorus.
I'll hear it to the background.
Which song to sing by?
I will come back and say, edit this out after. If I pressure
trying to
you,
remember.
tell me you know what to sing it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
I don't know if I
One
can
line.
remember.
One line. Just give me a little sweet voice. One line.
I have so much different songs. Which one?
Your favorite.
Like what? Like a
Your
R&B
favorite.
vibe. I don't have a favorite per se. So this one was a kind of R&B kind of love song. I can't believe I'm gonna sing this, but until the end of time, as long as we're on this road, I will make you smile. No matter how far we go, And with those angel eyes, I will be all right until the end. Something like that.
Give it to me room. Listen, I want about 500 comments under this post. I'll put this post up alone. So,
Yeah.
y'all heard this here today, and then there was a shift. And today, Jesse is a mindset coach. What does that mean, Mr. McBarrow?
But before I see what that mean, I was in the personal development space for a long time. So it started in 2005. I stumbled into a personal development seminar, right, in 2005. And inside, I was the youngest person inside there, looking around the room, everybody older than me. How did I end up in this space? You know, they're talking about leadership in the 21st century. And I'm like, I'm 18 years old, right? This very high level conversation, thanks to my aunt, rest her soul, she would have paid for me to go to this seminar. And something ignited there. That's when I started reading. That is when I started to really pay attention to more esoteric information outside of schoolwork, and then I ended up doing personal training and group exercise. So I went to school for that, did the certifications, and I became a teacher. So I was a teacher at the Institute of Health and Fitness, right? And at the Institute of Health and Fitness, that is why I discovered all the dimensions of wellness.
Okay.
Right. So I have to tell you that. So when we get to mindset coach, you'll understand how that came about. So I was a teacher at 19 years old at the Institute of Health and Fitness, and I'm teaching about all the dimensions of wellness. And I discovered that people coming to get physically fit, maybe coming to the gym to get mindset results. So you get to realize a lot of people go to the gym for many different reasons.
Yeah.
And you thinking they just want to lose weight, they just want to do things, but plenty people walking into the gym have a lot of issues that they're going through in life, and they go into the gym to try to solve that problem or try to mask it or try to do something about it, but they don't have nobody to talk to, or they're just trying to channel that energy out, but they're not really solving the problem. So as a personal trainer, you get to sit intimately, if you're a good trainer, to find out, and you do an assessment of the 6 dimensions of wellness, right? Including occupation, because occupation is a huge part of your overall well-being that a lot of people don't pay attention to. That could affect your weight gain or your weight loss and all those different things. So I explored that, and I got a job at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, where at one point in time I was the only trainer in 6 campuses.
Okay.
So I used to go to all the different campuses, and that gave me an opportunity to not only run all the different gyms, but I had to be very strategic. So what I would do is I would teach all the students about the 6 dimensions of wellness, right? And so that they know that coming to the gym cannot solve all your problems. You need to address all these different areas. You need to look at your spiritual wellness, your psychological wellness, your emotional wellness, all these different things to get the results that you need. And so I basically perfected it, because it's thousands of students, passing through, over the 10 years that I was there. And so coming out of, when the pandemic hit, I just didn't too long came back to Trinidad being a missionary. And so I spent a considerable time doing some travel, doing some ministry and all those different things. And so I understand the importance of the spiritual well-being. And so coming back to Trinidad and, exploring music, and I still had all this information from before and all these books that I read and all these different things. I recognize that everything starts with the mind. So think about mindset like this, right? So you have a vehicle. You have a vehicle. Your vehicle is your body.
All right.
Right? And your mind is the driver. the driver behind the wheel in this vehicle, right? Now, every driver is supposed to have a permit, right? Have a driver's permit. But,
Supposed to.
right? But do you know that not every driver that have a permit could drive? Right?
All right.
They have permission to drive. They behind a wheel, but not everybody that have a permit is a good driver.
Yeah.
So your mindset is how you're driving this vehicle,
Right.
right? So a lot of people have a mind, but the mindset that is dictating or turning the wheel of your mind, if that is not right, every decision that you make, every direction that you turn could have severe consequences. So I recognize that mindset is where a lot of our issues start from. So I wanted to get straight to the core.
So I want to do something. Well, I don't know if it's risky, but I actually want to bring you guys along in terms of what Jesse did with me, because Jesse had a part, well, a very big part to play in you guys seeing this right now. So even when I mention having these conversations and doing a podcast, I was driving a little reckless with my mind, as Jesse would say. My mind had a lot of doubts and fears and a lot of things. And there's a couple of things Jesse really hammered in my mind over the last couple months, right? And actually his book starts around the topic of the hurdles of getting started, right? And there's an analogy that you use in that chapter where you liken it to Olympic runner doing the 100 hurdle race, right? So I would like to get into that in terms of that conversation, because I have, even myself, and I have other friends who tell people want to drop music, album, people want to start back, people want to start a restaurant, people want to start projects, and there's all these hurdles mentally before they could consider finances, before they could consider the work behind it. In their mind, it's just like, oh, I didn't even think this one would work.
Yeah.
Right? So, in your experience, what is the top 3 hurdles, like a Mount Rushmore of hurdles, right? People go through mentally before getting started with a dream, a passion, a goal.
Yeah. The hardest part of starting a thing is starting the thing. All right. So I like to, it's not in the book here, but a parts of it is in the book. Right. If you Google the word future, right, the word future, it says it's a period of time following a moment of speaking and writing. So in order to get started with a thing, you have to put pen to paper and you have to start speaking about it. That is where it starts. If you have a thought about what your future could look like, you have to put pen to paper and you have to start speaking about it. If you have not done that, forget the idea of starting.
So what's the power behind the pen to paper method and the speaking?
It's the beginning. It starts. It's already begun.
So once
So
it's
the
started,
activity, just on a very simple scale, it has already begun. You already start to put it out there that you want to get this thing accomplished, right? So the next thing is, most people say, finish what you start, which is which I respect the statement. Right? Finish what you start. And you hear everybody saying that you're always starting things and you're never finishing it. Right? I want to submit to this conversation. It's better to start what you finish. So so this is where mind mapping comes.
I don't even think I understand what you said. I don't know.
Right.
So
Okay.
you
So
need to break
yeah.
that out for me, bro.
So it's better to start what you finish. This is where mind mapping and all these different things. This book that you're holding in your hand, 44,000 words, 200 pages. People might look at it and say, "Oh my God, that is so amazing." And how I need to write a book, how to get started. Before I started that book, I had finished it. And if I had the sketch pad, I could have shown you how I finished the book before I started writing it.
Gotta explain that.
Right. So mind mapping is a process of really taking all your thoughts and putting it on paper and really exploring all the aspects of, because your mind, I think scientifically we think about 6,000 thoughts every day. So, you need an outlet to take some of those thoughts, capture it in real time. And so then you start mapping it. So I have a sketchpad home where it didn't start it off with ready mindset go, but it
Right.
started off like a journey. I put journey down, I draw a line. Okay, the finish line, the starting line. I was like, hold on, okay. And then as you see your thoughts, now you could start to manipulate. Now you could start to plan. Now you could start to put things, make sense out of it. But if you're not putting things down, it can't make sense. Everything just cluttered in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, start what you finish. If you really want to move forward with a particular goal, then put pen to paper, try your best. You're not going to have everything in between,
Right.
but you know what the finish line going to look like. I knew what this book was going to look like before it finished. So I had a book, Miles Monroe book called Unleash Your Potential. I kept that in my bag for the whole entire duration that I was writing the book. So I knew what the book was going to look like. I knew the size of the book. I knew how it was going to feel, how the weight of it, right? Because I had a book that I knew that I wanted it to look and feel like this.
You was going to put the lines over here.
Oh, well, no, I did have all that.
Okay. Just making sure.
But
Okay, all right.
but in the back of my mind,
wanted
every
that.
time, so I spent some time in different coffee shops writing, and I would have Miles Monroe book sitting on the table because I knew what I wanted the book. I had the finish. And so ironically, when I print the first copy of the book, I forgot. So after a while, I had the manuscript done, sent it to get formatted and edited, and I got it back. And then one day, I had the Miles Monroe book on top of the table, and my book was sitting on next to it. And it was so unintentional, right? And then when I looked on the table and I saw both of them sitting on next to each other, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, I did it. So, yeah, so start what you finish. If it is you have a dream, you have a goal, get around people that are close to the goal. Get around, if you want to have a coffee shop one day, you need to spend time in coffee shops.
Yeah.
Spend time, taste it, interact with people, just do what you need to do so that you could be in the environment, you could get a taste of the environment, and then it will activate you into achieving, a coffee shop one day.
All right, that's good. How do we move from mind mapping into action now? That second step after I get everything on paper and I'm visiting the places, checking out the coffee shops, and checking out whatever your passion is. And now I have to do something about what I'm seeing, what I map in my mind, right? What does that next step look like? Hey guys, quick shout out to our episode sponsors. We are sponsors now to Ring Films, your boutique Caribbean wedding film company. You can check them out at www.ringfilms.com. And also Studio 121 in Barrow, 10th Street. For all your versatile studio needs, they got you covered, and you can check them out at legacywwc@gmail.com. All right, so thank you guys. Let's get back to the episode.
You use it with action, so that's what it takes. It takes action. So one word that I don't like, two words that I don't like. Before you ask,
You don't
right?
like Jessie.
I don't like the word motivation, and I don't like the word
I
potential.
was coming to
Right?
that.
So
I
we
was
gotta
coming
get
to-
that
I was
right.
coming to that because I hear people announcing you as motivational speaker. And
Yeah,
so
I
on
get
and
a
so
ick.
forth.
Like I get a ick when somebody call me a motivational speaker. I don't like the word
All right.
motivation too much. I
All right,
don't I don't live by motivation.
So just look down the barrel of that camera and let
Oh,
them
this
know.
one right here.
Yeah, let them know why do call you that.
Okay, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm trying to find a better word for it. For now, it's activational speaker, and I'll say why.
You tell me transformational. It
Yeah,
changed that?
transformational but activational speaker, right?
I like it. I like
Right.
it. I like
So
it.
so motivation comes at the end of the results that after taking action. So in other words, you have to take action. Action produces results that make you motivated to take action again. A lot of people waiting for motivation to take action. And if we wait for motivation to walk through the room or to just pop up on your phone or to I don't know, if we wait for motivation, we may not get things done. So it takes, you have to take action. Action does not need motivation. Ask anybody who is in the gym every single day. Most days they're not motivated.
Yeah.
Plenty times they're walking into the gym with their shoulders down. They just know that they have to take action.
Yeah.
So we don't need motivation. We need action. We need to take action. And why I don't like the word potential, because potential actually means stuck, right? So you hold, this I don't know what you call it, right? But this ball that you hold, that you, when you let it go, it swings and it hits on the other ball or whatever the case is, right? Potential is that ball just right there. That's potential. And everybody just watching this thing and saying, oh, you have so much potential.
That could do something.
And
Yeah.
that to me, that cringy to hear, because you tell me I have potential. Potential means that you're just in one spot, right? So you have to move from static to kinetic, right? You have to move. Everything that you want to accomplish takes movement. You just have to move. You just have to get up and go.
Now, just see how we normally see potential, right? Or for me, right?
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody. Is that you know that? Well, your analogy was this ball, right? Now, is that there's a ornament that's being like on a
Yeah.
office desk and is this
Yeah.
knocking?
Yes.
Right. For me, it's like you could see what that ball can do.
Yeah, and that get people excited.
Yeah. And you're saying that that's
We just getting excited for what something
nothing.
could possibly do, like that. I don't like, if it is you
Okay.
can't do something, do it. If you have potential to do something and you're not doing it, then why are we so excited about the potential? We excited because somebody just not doing what they're supposed to do.
So I'm gonna put myself in the little firing ring here, right? So a couple of years ago, someone told me I had potential to do this what I'm doing now, right? So sometimes I believe that we say that in encouraging way to say that, hey, this is what you can do, this is what you can become. I know you're not seeing it now, but hey.
Yeah.
There's this thing there. And sometimes people don't know that there's something dormant living inside of them. And most times this is how the conversations go around
Yes.
potential.
Yes.
Around me.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't
Yes.
like it, so apparently nobody can.
You see, some people is use it as a compliment, and I don't think telling somebody they have potential is a compliment. Telling somebody that you have potential is, I see that you can accomplish something, but you're not doing it. You need to do what I see you have the capacity to do. But don't take it as a compliment and say, yeah, I have potential, But some people wear potential like if it's a badge. But how much people live the entire life with potential and just never do anything about it? They feel good about the potential because somebody said to them, oh yeah, you have potential, and two other people come and say you have potential, and you feel good about it. You feel like that was a compliment. You could be real big, like you could travel the world, and be like, yeah, I know, yeah, I could travel the world, yeah. And they do that for a long, 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 long time. I don't want to just have potential. I don't want to live in potential.
As one of the, or as a mentor, Mr. McBarrow, as we had mentored you, right? When someone hears something like that and then they encounter a coach like yourself, right? And they come into the space, hey, coach, just so I heard I could do so and so and so, and I know how the potential to do it. How do you move them away from the potential conversation into action?
Well, okay, so there's 4 C's of activation. All right, and I'll skip the first two and I'll get to the third one. Right? Now let me say the first two for the sake of it, right?
Thanks.
So what is the cause?
Cause,
What is your why? What's the cost?
cost, yes, sir.
What was this thing gonna cost you? What's the consequence? And who's your community? So the consequence, I like to start with that because nobody likes to talk about the consequence, right?
No.
What if you get stuck in potential? What's the consequence of that? Because if we're not talking about that, then we could continue year by year by year in potential and not consider somebody being affected by you staying in potential mode, right? People who you could impact, the world at large, they're missing out on you taking action on the things that you need to take action on. So I often say to myself, what do I want to give? What do I want to give to the world? What do I want to give to my mother? What do I want to give to the people that I really, really care about? What type of life that I want to give them? Then from there I say, okay, well, if I need to give them this, I need to have it. I need to have I need to have something to give it, right?
Yeah.
And then in order to have that thing to give it, I need to do something. So I need to do something to have it to give it.
No, give it, yeah.
And in order to do the thing, I need to become. Right? So from an identity level, you have to become the type of person that will do the thing that will have the results so that you could give. Right? So that is why everything starts with action. You always have to take action. You cannot stay in potential. You cannot just have potential and do nothing about it. And so you would have mentioned something earlier. I don't know if you're going to bring it into the conversation, but other people are being affected by your inaction, by you not taking action with the things that you need to do, especially if it lines up with your destiny, especially if it lines up with what God called it to do.
Yeah. So that means we're on the road to becoming. Right? So it sounds like to me, you have to become, within your character, within your being, a person that takes action.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Are you reading that correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So you give me the 4 C's, right? And honestly, I think you should go through just a summarized version of each one, right? To make people understand, okay, this is the framework of becoming, because there's a cost to taking certain actions or for going behind a dream activity, a relationship, whatever it is.
All right. So we're gonna have some fun with it, real quick, right? Sure. So what's the cause? What is your why? Why is Jeromen? Right? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of all of this? What is your why? And when you think about your why, so every time I dive into that question of your why, especially when I sit with my clients and I ask them what is their why, and they say, well, I want to make this amount of money and I want to do this. I was like, nah, that's not your why. I can't work with that.
Yeah.
Like I can't be an effective coach if everything that you have to do is about you. Like I can't be an effective coach. your why have to be bigger than you. And I know when you hit your why, I remember one of my clients in particular, for a couple of years I've been working with her. And I asked her how why the first couple of sessions. She told me something, and her facial, her disposition was the same. I was like, you just told me your why,
Yeah.
and you normal.
And it didn't move. Didn't move.
You normal,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you didn't. And then I remember, like a year and a half later, I asked her what is Hawaii, and she paused, and she had to take her time to tell me how Hawaii. And after she told me Hawaii, she was in tears, and I was in tears, and I was like, okay, yeah, we ready. A book was birthed a few months after that, and next thing you know, she was, rising to the top of her industry.
Yeah.
Your why, when you think of when you start to talk about your why, like you can't just rattle it out like that. It's so much bigger than you. By the time you get the words out, you must feel something emotional. It must move you in a particular way.
Yeah.
Your why must make you feel uncomfortable. Your why must keep you up at night. It's not a simple answer.
Yeah.
By the time you get that out, you know that this is a burden.
Yeah.
So this
So I just want to pause right there. I want to camp out there for like just 2 minutes and not miss the opportunity for you to tell us your why.
I want I want people to have a real encounter with God. So where I don't have to preach, it could be a hug, it could be a coaching session, it could be whatever I involve in. Yeah, thanks. You asked me why on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to live by that, and that's what I want to die doing, I don't want to be rich to do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my whole life in order for that to happen. But I want at any stage of my life, any encounter that you could get closer to God. You could, somehow God could use me for you to have an encounter.
Yeah. Yeah. Why this was important for me to ask this is to bring people along on the weightiness of your why and not just make these plans from the surface level. I did not know that it would have gone in this direction, but Jessie displayed a very powerful thing in being vulnerable and letting tears flow to explain and to show firsthand how important it is to have a deep why, that conviction that goes beyond money, that goes beyond fame and status. He really is going to do this day in, day out. He's going to die on this hill for the sake of Christ, for the sake of God, people being able to see and experience God in this way. So that was very powerful, Jesse. Very powerful.
Yeah, man.
You okay?
Yeah, man. That's the first time I cried in front of my camera like that.
You can continue.
Barrow, boy. All right. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. So we're going on to the cost. So when you establish your why, you got to be willing to pay the price. You know, it's your why gonna cost you a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna cost you some of your personal aspirations. Gonna cost you time, gonna cost you money. And of course there are things that you might have in the way of you accomplishing your why that you have to get out of the way. Your why is gonna cost you something. You know, like it's in no way that you could accomplish your why freely conveniently. It's gonna cost you something. You know, we talk about sacrifice. A lot I've been talking about sacrifice versus neglect. But you know, sacrifice is to make something holy. Right? Sacrifice the literal meaning is to make something sacred or to make something holy. Right? And holy literally means moral and spiritual excellence. So you have to lay down something, you know, in order to accomplish your why. You have to lay down something, right? So it's gonna cost you something. Consequence, we spoke about that. You know, if you don't sit down and think, and I hope I don't cry again, you know, think about how much souls are waiting for you to accomplish your purpose, to really step into that. The amount of souls waiting for you to pay that price so that they could have an encounter. You know, sometimes people don't need you to preach to them. You know, they just need to know, they just need to see you living a very convicted life. They just need to see you paying the price and stay in the course. You know, and that could, you know, convict them in ways that your words may not be able to stitch together the right. You know, and some of us may not be so articulate, but if you could really walk that walk, you know, I think about that. I often, and I try not to, but I often think about if I pull back now, if I just give up and I just rock back now and just wallow in my own thing, how much lives going to be impacted? You know, and so just us sitting down in this room, you know, is a result of price that I had to pay, you know. So, and then community. So what's the cause? What's the cost? What's the consequence? And your community. Your community is that space that is the soil in which when planted, it bears the type of fruit that could support your why. If your community could either be a graveyard or it could be a garden. And so you want to be planted where your why could be established. You know, the fruits of your why could bear fruit and it could flourish. Right? The fruits is for everybody. You know, everybody could eat the fruits.
Pick from the tree.
But the tree cannot be planted just anywhere. Do you understand? The tree have to be planted where it could actually bear the fruits that everybody could benefit from. So your community is going to be one of your greatest strategies in accomplishing your why.
Jesse, I want to say this on camera. I thank you for paying the price.
Easy.
No, no, you're saying that if you were to pull back, and I thank God with all my heart, Jesse, that you didn't. I won't be here doing this if you didn't. So just I have to tell you thanks.
I'm a crier, bro. Come on.
It doesn't matter. Real men cry. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man.
I was here, I can't remember what time, and I'm tired of setting up. And every 5 minutes, Jesse's like, "You excited? You ready? You ready? We doing this. We here. We reach. We doing that." I'm just like, and I trying to set up on camera and lighting and audio issues, and Jesse's like, "Bro, you're doing it. You're doing it. We here. We're gonna have the conversation." And but I get it too, but yeah, like you have no idea how much I needed that energy. Sometimes, as you're saying, it's not a matter of sometimes it's not the preaching. It's just that person in your corner that's saying, "You're ready? I hear. I hear." Since I arrived, he was here. And every minute he's just like, "Bro, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it." So Jesse, I know life did a number of things to bring it to this point. Right? And that is why it's so important for me to allow people to see you in this light, because there's so many others that needs your voice and your support and your coaching on the sidelines, just the way you did it for me today. Yeah? I'm not going to cry.
Don't.
I'm not going to cry. Right? So,
Yeah.
because we can't take it. We right now we go through.
Yeah.
We go through.
Messy. It's a messy one.
Yeah. But I want to end by allowing you to let persons know where they could contact you, because Jesse's really doing an amazing job and he's so humble. Jesse has a whole community that he didn't publicize like that he speaks into their lives every Monday without fail, 6 a.m. Sunrise City, right? And now jump on the boat. So, you understand? Inside now. But Jesse, let them know where they could find you, where they could engage with your content, engage with your coaching. Let them know.
All right. So yeah, Jessie McBarrow. My name will be somewhere on this on this screen. JESSIEMCBARROW. That's how to spell my name. Don't spell my name without the I, because that's not me, right? Jessie McBarrow. On all social media platforms.
Okay. No number to contact, anything.
363-7070. Oh, you have an international audience. So 868.
Come on, put the 868.
363
+1 868. Right?
+1 868 363 7070.
Yeah. So this is part of the process, guys, of the road in mentorship, to mentorship, and being mentored. It doesn't always look like a older to a younger. It could actually be a brother who see not your potential, but seeing the steps that you're taking in action and say, I am going to get behind this. So, Jesse, thank you for getting behind this podcast.
Of course.
It wouldn't be possible without you.
This is our podcast. This is, right?
Well,
Okay, all right.
We have it here. Jesse is part of us now. We have it here. Also, go and get this book. This book has been doing numbers on me. Ready Mindset Go. So, where they could get this book, Jesse?
Same. Just reach out to me.
Just reach out to Jesse.
Soon it will be the audio, everything. But if you need a book, a copy right now, just reach out to me on social media.
All right, guys. Perfect opportunity to get this book. Also, subscribe, like, and I want to see all the comments. And what was your takeaway from this conversation on the Mentor Me podcast? I am your host, Jerome Birch. This is Jessie McBarrow. And you guys have a blessed one. Peace.